Hey, Kurt.
Hello.
I'm noticing a lot in both in clinic life, but also in my personal life. I've got lots of women asking, how do I become more feminine? Whether or not their curiosity has been sparked between their friends, or men saying to them, it would be nice if you would be more feminine, whether or not they use those terms or don't use those terms. And then largely also just seeing a lot of men confused. And I was just wondering if we could break down a little bit your thoughts of yin and yang, masculine, feminine, whether or not you think it's necessary to define, or how we can basically play with those aspects in ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's always a great one. I think brilliant place of exploration for the means of coming to deeper understanding of ourselves as human beings, right? And that's where we need to be looking. Instead of having these polarities of I am this or I am that, women in a modern time, presenting a lot more masculine qualities because of society's way of demand. It's calling women into a very dynamic state. Always doing, always needing to, make the decisions, always needing to drive, always needing to try and subscribe to a system that's very masculine, energy dominant, which denies females that innate space within themselves to explore their own femininity, to be more passive, And on the contrary as well with men, a lot of confusion arising, as you indicated there, and due to not feeling safe, to be able to explore their own feminine nature, not feeling safe due to circumstances and environments that have been cultivated from conditioning from past generations, to be like, if you're a man, you are to do this. If you're a man, you're supposed to lead in this way and hold in this way and be strong and be courageous and, perform, And there's no time or energy or emphasis being laid on just allowing men to explore that softer, more gentle, more passive state within themselves. So I feel like we can enter into that arena, and shed a whole lot of light and explore a whole lot of understanding, as we go there. So that's a brilliant question, So let's start like at the base level there and explore firstly that understanding that within every woman and every man lies those polarities, those two polar energies of yin and yang, masculine and feminine, sun and moon, spirit and matter, of electric energy being that masculine energy within us as a human being. This is our action-taking, dynamic energy, that's always moving. It is the doer within us. And the feminine principle demonstrating itself as flow, as creativity, as intuition, as knowingness, as magnetism. Electric, masculine energy, outgoing, incoming magnetism, passive, rest, recharge, replenish, contemplation, So we, both as females and males, have these two polarized energies within. And what we are needing to do, and I feel like this is such a profoundly ripe time for us all to be exploring how those energies are playing out. Are they in balance? Are they in check within ourselves as men and as women? Instead of predominantly leaning on and only having explored and understood one part of ourselves. It's that doesn't even make sense, right? Why only explore half of yourself when there's a whole other part of yourself that's unexplored and unrealized, unrecognized? This shows us our blindness as human beings, we're not seeing what it is. We don't see things in their whole totality. So this is us again, just as we've explored in other episodes, shifting to a state of total seeing, full seeing. How do we bring all parts here and look at the whole thing? How do we embody that whole thing? How do we come back to that whole vision of ourselves? Right? So with that first foundational understanding that every man and every woman has feminine, masculine, sun, moon, yin, yang, light, dark. Yeah. Now, what to do with that? Yeah. How does that play out? Yeah. And as you said, in clinic and around, you're having that reflection of women reaching that point of, I want to touch in deeper into that state of my own feminine nature. Yeah. Because they've been, as we touched upon before, so called into a masculine way of doing, needing to control, needing the reins, needing to subscribe to that mode of operation due to what the environment has been commanding, calling. Yeah. So we've got all these beautiful women that have been in the mode of operation of doing, which is a masculine energy. So, of course, naturally the intelligence within them gets burnt out, it gets tired, and it says, now it's time to come back into that softer part of myself, into that space where I can find rest, where I can find sanctuary again, where I can find stability, where I can be held, where I feel safe, yeah, where I feel safe, where I can let all of the concerns and the demands of life, just let them fall away for a moment and come back to that beauty, yeah, the beauty, just like the safety of the womb. The feminine energy and the principle of that energy is matter itself, yeah, is like the womb space, yeah, where the seed of life or the spirit of life is implanted and it can be safely held. Fertile ground, just like planting the seed, let's say the seed representing the masculine energy of spirit. In a worldly sense, in an earthly sense, we plant the seed of the tree into the womb of the earth, into fertile soil where it is held. Yeah, it's held in that all-nurturing space where it is warm, it is moist, everything that is required, water, warmth of the sun is warming. Yeah, telling everything within that seed that it is a safe and it is a ripe place to start to open and to set its roots. So this, we need to respond to that calling within us, both men and women. How can we come back into a state of receivership, yeah, of that womb-like sanctum within ourselves, that place where we are held and we are safe and everything is ripe for us to grow and to set our roots. So we may, in times yet to come, be extremely stable and sturdy and strong, yeah, just like the tree growing onwards and upwards towards the light, yeah. So there is just a deep desire in the world now to start tapping back into that, to balancing the yin and the yang, yeah, the sun and the moon energies. Sun being masculine, the moon being the reflective nature of the feminine, yeah, just like a body of water reflecting the light of the sun, yeah, the womb of the earth, yeah, earth, matter, holding the animating force or the light of spirit, the father energy and the mother energy, the yang and the yin. Yeah. If we look, yeah, this is a great study as well. If we're wanting to come to understand these two polarities, how they play out, what are the qualities of their nature, how that influences us, how we move within that influencing force of energy, just start to look around, right? What does yin and what does yang represent to you? Yeah? What is of the nature of yin? What is of the nature of yang? Just to everyone's current understanding, right? This is really good. Again, we're always encouraging experimentation. Experiment, look, observe, look again, yeah? Listen. And we start to be able to join the dots up and we go, wow, it's starting to make sense to me. That life, as I've heard before, as we've all heard before, is about balancing. Yeah, the balancing is of these two energies, the yin and the yang, the light and the dark. Yeah. So if I'm feeling as a woman or as a man confused or in conflict or feeling like I need to connect with some part of myself I don't quite yet know, it's all right. Just move towards that thing. Allow that in. If there's a calling to that passive place where we need to rest and recharge because we've been doing, good. Respond in equal measure from your state of doing to that place of being. Yeah? Being already. As I say it, I feel like everything softens, right? And this is really one of the most potent energies for all human beings at this point in history, is the remedy of being. Yeah? And we've emphasized this in previous conversations we've had with presence, with meditation, with restfulness. Yeah? It's one of the most potent energies that I've come to find. Yeah. And it can restore harmony again, back in the heart, back in the body. When we feel safe and at ease within ourselves, within our body, within our own mind, yeah, all of a sudden, that which was rather challenging and difficult in life, whether it be change, whether it be, challenge, whether it be whatever it may be, yeah, the ebb and the flow, the coming and the going of everything, all of a sudden doesn't prove nearly as challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's a deep sense of stability that I have rested, and I continue to check in with that, right? So we are seeing the response to that calling in people. They're not quite sure what the calling was, so there's a little confusion. But this is the calling. The calling is to balance and to harmonize those two polarities of yin and yang, of light and dark. And as I speak now, just to that part there, to light and dark. Now we've seen yin and yang, as I've expressed, as doing and being, light and dark. Again, as we turn our sight back inwardly and reflect, those who are walking that path of self-awareness, yeah, of self-discovery, self-healing, set out upon the journey and realize quite soon the roadblocks, yeah, the hindrances on the path, in most cases are their own shadow, their darkness. Yeah? And we have to integrate that darkness, to accept and appreciate and hold that which we have rejected. Yeah? Our darkness and our shadow are just parts of ourselves we have shamed, we have rejected, we have pushed away. Yeah? And not allowed. We have denied the existence of them. We have denied the expression of our own pain. We have not allowed ourselves to feel it. Yeah? We have denied and shamed and shunned and criticized so many parts of ourselves that we felt inadequate around. Yeah? We felt held no value. We felt was of no worth. And we should hide them in the closet, hide them away so the world doesn't see them. The seeker on the path quickly comes to see that it is the welcoming of that back in to the heart. Acceptance, self-acceptance, self-appreciation, self-love, yeah? Self-forgiveness for the things that one has done, the wrongs that one has done, yeah? And the hurts and the pain and the suffering and the wrongs that have been done unto thee, yeah? And to find deep forgiveness is to welcome back in those shadows, but in a good way, not to be consumed by them. Yeah? But that which has been shunned and pushed away must be brought back. Again, coming back to the vision of the totality. We can't reject parts of ourselves and just accept some parts of ourselves. We're then fractured. There's part of us that is not accepted and part of us that is. And when we say from that place of ignorance, I accept others, I don't judge others, I allow others to be as they are, that is on false terms. You're not even accepting and appreciating yourself in your totality, for your darkness and your light. Yeah? Do you see there? Right? This is what we need to catch on to, is those things of, oh, wow, I have never been able to accept others because I have never actually accepted all that I am. I haven't accepted that part within myself that has the capacity to destroy. I've only accepted the part that can create, and I deemed beautiful and worthy. Right? It's about coming back to that whole vision of holding all, light, dark, yin, yang. Yeah. And as we're shedding our light upon that and starting to explore how the qualities of those energies manifest and play out and express themselves, we're coming to understand the art of balance. And if we're honest with ourselves, we can see in our own lives where this calling has been echoing for some time and we haven't responded. Just like that, I want to connect with that feminine part of myself, that soft part of myself. I need healing. But then, on the contrary, all we engage with is doing again. We just resubscribe to that, thinking we need to be more, thinking we need to improve. See, these are all doings, thinking our way through things, right? Always projecting forwards. Or every activity of the mind is a doing. That's why meditation, mindlessness, is such a profound remedy, because it is absolute being. There is voidness. It is the void itself. Yeah? There is nothing happening, and one enters back into that superfluous state of tranquil being, just nothingness, just to be there. That's all. Right? Again, fresh air, relaxing, stabilizing, recentering, helps us recalibrate. And in that state of being, we are plugged in. We are filled up. We receive everything that we need to. Yeah? And we're starting to realize that through exploration of that emptying out, whether that's emptying out mind stuff, emptying out emotional garbage and baggage and self-imposed limitations. We're removing all of that, removing it all until there's nothing there. Then we can do in the world, we can move into, from that feminine state, back into a dynamic state, yeah, but be centered in being. And this is what I would like to call, when it's in its most refined state, stillness in motion. Yeah? We are centered in stillness because we have explored that. And that takes some time to make friends with that. Because most people's knee-jerk response and reaction is to do. Keep active, yeah. Keep engaged, yeah. Keep distracted. Always playing with something, always doing something. Irritability arising if I'm ever just left by myself. People finding themselves bored, needing to always do something. Keep occupied, keep occupied, keep occupied until they have no energy left, then they fall unconscious, meaning go to sleep, wake up, and do the same thing again. And in some cases, people are using even their dream time to play out activity. Unresolved things in the mind are projected into the landscape of the astral plane, which is the dreaming plane. And again, we're doing. So we're doing all night, doing all day, and people wonder why they burn out, why they're frazzled, why they're confused, why they're disorientated, why they don't have clarity. You don't need to explain anymore. It's very obvious. And it's also a silly question when people are like, what do I do? Well, if you look at what you are doing, you'll figure out where to from there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'm trying to encourage people to do here. Through these inquiries, through these questions, through these points of reflection, helping people just look at it, and by looking at it, they can see where to go with it. Oh, wow. Yes, I am craving that. Huh. I don't need to ask the question of why. It's obvious why. It's because I haven't yet explored that part of myself, and I so deeply desire to know it. So let me move towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me move towards it in intention, firstly. My intent is to move towards that energy. Yeah. Let me move towards it through the way I'm thinking. I start to gear, say if we were in a very dynamic state, yeah, always doing, and yet haven't established a relationship with being, or that feminine nature, the magnetic energy of being filled. I start to marry my thoughts with how can I accomplish that? Right? How can I move towards that energy? Instead of picking this up or distracting here, I remind myself, hang on, just let yourself be here. Be with nature. Be with your body. Rest a little more. Yeah. Don't say yes to everything under the sun. Create some space in your day if you can. Yeah. Don't fill every weekend with something. I know it's fun to fill those times with family adventures and friends and all of these engagements, yes, but sometimes it's just as delicious, if not more delicious, to just keep spaciousness, yeah, and be spontaneous instead of so planned and organized. Be open to spontaneity, yeah, playfulness, spontaneity is good medicine. And people are afraid of that because they like, if they've been driving from that masculine place of imbalance, they like routine, they like control, they like everything set out the way it's supposed to be. So I know and I can be organized and things are going to be where I want them to be at the time I want them to be, and I've got so much to fit in, so I have to categorize and organize all things. Where's room for life? Where's your spontaneity? Where's your creativity? Where's your trust? That's a big one. Mm. If we need to organize everything, we're demonstrating a tremendous lack of trust. Trust in the intelligence of your being and trust in the intelligence of life. Thinking that we need to map everything out, otherwise everything will go to shit. False ground, shaky ground. And if we're trying to uphold that, The byproduct of that, if we're looking at it clearly, is anxiety. One who needs to plan, organize, and have all things there to feel secure and feel safe and make sure everything's going good, yeah, sets a false pretense. It sets a false ground of stability, but it's not stable. Only in your mind. It's open to so much change, and you know that. That's why you're anxious. Yeah? You don't want anything to move, but something inside of you knows that it will move, and things will change, and others won't be able to turn up, and they won't follow through, and there's so many variables, and that's what makes people anxious as shit. Yeah? And this is one of the biggest imbalances we're seeing, right? In the field of mental health, in the West especially, we are seeing a tremendous amount of anxiety. People are taking medications, people are trying all kinds of things, yeah? But that's just scratching the surface. We need to look at it. Where is anxiety coming from?
Mm.
I mean, firstly, and foremostly, it's an imbalance. Secondly, yeah, it's your need to control that makes you anxious. And why do you need to control? Because people don't trust. If you trusted, there's no need to control. You and life, good friends. You see? I trust life, life trusts me, I got life, life got me. Yeah? Life always providing for me, never at a moment too late, never at a moment too soon. Perfect. Time, the thing will land in my lap, the opportunity will be there, all things will fall into place. If I am malleable, just like life is malleable. Oh my gosh. Beautiful word there, malleability. What is the quality of yin? Yeah? Malleability. Like water. Yeah? Feminine nature is like water. Just like I said, like moon. Reflective of the light of the sun. The light of spirit is reflecting off the surface of the moon and is reflected to the earth. That beautiful ambient light, soothing light of Luna, just like the reflection, yeah, upon the surface of the ocean or a body of water, glistening like diamonds, reflecting the light of spirit. We must be reflective. We must be malleable. We must be here. Yeah? And all of a sudden, a brilliance shining forth into the world. Clarity of mind, clear in our emotional state, vital and alive in the body, at rest, but in motion. Yeah. This is our formula. And I'm speaking to that in its potent form, right? In its refined form. Because one, I don't like giving everything away. I like to show what lies in the field of potential. I like to show the task at hand is the art of balancing. Yeah? Through understanding these two polarities of yin and yang, through self-exploration of that and experimentation of that, yeah, we are producing more harmony, yeah, through balancing the two modes of operation, of doing and being, yin and yang, sun and moon. And the byproduct of that will eventually be the elimination of all anxiety, the elimination of all disconnect, yeah, from life itself, meaning not believing that life doesn't have your back. Realizing the connection between outside and inside. That when here is good, here on the outside always providing. Because I feel abundant and whole and complete. I'm resting myself and I am taking the initiative of action. Meaning putting my knowledge, my newfound insight and harmony and balance into action in equal measure. Yeah? And if I'm in balance, all things that will come to me will be of that nature of balance. Because there is no need for imbalance to be reflected to me. You see? And if imbalance is reflected on my outer, let me not contract and run the other way and say, my gosh, this is too hard. Why me? Why this? Why that? Oh, it's nothing's working for me. Instead, be wise. Open your eyes and be wise. And see, oh, maybe this thing is just showing me where I am out of balance. Maybe it's here as a teacher, not as a tormentor. Maybe it's reminding me for the 1,000th time to drop it, to get out of my own way, to stop controlling, to stop pretending that I know, and surrender to listening. Yeah? You see? Oh, so easy.
Just gotta do the stock take. See what you've ordered.
Right? But we just need to look at it in a different way. Don't label, right? And don't be afraid. And touching on the confusion, as you stated at the beginning, of men, lots of confusion. Confusion coming from an inner state of conflict, and a conflict of, in the past, in generations past, something that my father's passed to me, that's something my grandfather's passed to me and his father before him, unsaid, on a subliminal level, a subconscious level, passed through the genes, that it's alive in my being, yeah? And all the men in the world are sharing this, is that it's not safe to be vulnerable. Yeah? A warrior is like a steel sword, is what has been forged into my being. Yeah? I must be strong and stable like that sword. Yeah? So, of course, confusion arising because we're finally coming into a time, yeah, their voice is getting louder. And brothers are needing to sit with that soft tenderness and vulnerability of their own hearts, of their own pain, of looking at that, of forgiving, of moving beyond, of offering themselves up, offering their righteousness up, and seeing and admitting that I wasn't right and I didn't know. I was blind, I was ignorant, I was too hard-headed, really hard. You see, just the energy of that is extremely confronting. So confronting that it's very hard to move into, and takes tremendous courage and strength in order to look at it, and to admit, yeah, how can I humble myself up? Yeah, man needs to be humbled, yeah, and woman needs to be empowered. Woman has been devalued for so long, and man has been so ignorant for so long, so blind, so narrow-sided. So here, again, another opportunity to look at this diverse field of polarities. Man, narrow-sided. Very direct. Needs to open to flow to his feminine nature. So his directness can be influenced by flow, and he can simultaneously move in vulnerability in a state of vulnerability, he's sensitive, not ignorant and blind. He is aware. He is empathic. He feels others. He looks through the eyes of others, comes to understand where other is coming from, and that can help influence the decision, the action I'm about to take. He's bringing both things into account. Yeah? And so woman, too, here in her expanded being naturally, yeah? Let's say in just pure femininity, needs to exercise at times that masculine energy of putting all of her flow into action. Yeah? Because a human being can be that too. Too much flow and no action. She needs to learn in all of her creative flow how to draw the bow and shoot the arrow. Yeah? Direct, sharp, and precise. But with flow. And man needs to ease up on the bow and learn to pay attention to his environment. What is all speaking to me? What is the sensitivity? I must cultivate sensitivity in my being and feel, allow myself to feel, be courageous enough to feel what I have stopped myself from feeling. Forgive, let go, become more fluent. Yeah? Express my creativity and my sensitivity, and that is pure strength. So, looking always at both. How do I balance both? How can I inquire into both? How can I learn from both? How can I play with both? Right? If we come to it from that place of playfulness, it's not so daunting. So today, yes, I can see I'm always in a state of doing, how can I be more playful with being? Instead of making it another thing to do, no, don't go down that avenue again. Just let it chime in spontaneous ways. I'm going to stop and smell the flowers. I'm going to just listen, so wholeheartedly listen to this other person sharing whatever it is they're sharing in conversation, without any desire in me to add anything, yeah? To add my opinion. I don't want to speak. I just want to purely listen. This is passivity, just full emptiness and allowing others to empty out, without you jumping into the gear of bah. You see? Play with it, explore it, come to understand it, see how it links together. And that the call at this time is for balance, 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 balance. Producing harmony, 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 harmony. Harmony, yeah? Resulting in peace, tranquility. Peace, tranquility. As the mosquito buzzes around your face. Trying to remove your peace and tranquility.
Trying.
Maybe a little bit. And you would see this. I'd love to hand the mic to you in that way. You would see this so much in your work with people's bodies, with Chinese medicine, with the muscles, with the intelligence of the body. Yeah, what do you find you predominantly see in the body as the body speaks in terms of that imbalance?
I guess it can display in all different ways, and it's also sometimes difficult because in Chinese medicine, when you're using the theories of yin and yang, something can only ever be yin if it's compared to something. So, for instance, in our situation, I'm yin because I have female genitalia. you are yang. But because at the moment I'm the active talker, it could be said that I'm currently more yang. So it depends on which role it is. So they each flow into another, and it's actually really fun principles because in a medicine sense, when there's that disparity between yin and yang, it's really cool because they have to turn into each other. So it's that thing of if someone's sitting at this much yang and that much yin, in whatever aspect of the body, you can edge these two together, or you can push the yang so high that it has to flip to yin. And it's like, yeah, really fun principles to play with. But I guess it's a little bit hard to define what the most common thing you see is, but I would say generally suppression, repression, and overdoing definitely would be overuse of the body, but not using the body correctly. Generally if the body's in balance and you're using it correctly, it's actually reasonably difficult to overuse if you're coming from that place. That might be too broad of a statement, but for the average person. But we're using it incorrectly, I think, because we're not having the same sense of stillness to have those marrying of those hemispheres of the brain together in order to be able to come from active operation from a more quiet place. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like so on the money. I think it's that is our predominant imbalance, right? It's too much doing, not enough being. Yeah. We're still learning. Yeah, that's why we're exploring all these things together. That's why beautiful conversations like this and so many others are happening, so we can look at things together, right? And we can navigate it together, and we can remind one another as we go, right? No one is right, no one is wrong. We're just learning together. We're exploring together. Everyone, we're seeing everyone on the same page, everyone on the same plane. Yeah? No greater than, no lesser than. Those that have refined this to greater states, if it is a proper refinement and a proper balance, never see themselves as greater than anyone else. Yeah, they just walked a little further ahead, so then they can backtrack and help everyone else get through that rugged terrain that they may be facing. Yeah, so we can all get through it together. Yeah, no man left behind, no woman left behind. Right, all in it together, all exploring it together. Some finding clarity through one person's way of expressing that same truth, another person finding clarity in another means, through another means, right? But we're talking about the same thing. It's just where is your resonance? Yeah. So this is our work. This is our work of balancing, of looking at and studying those two polarities in my life. How can I come back each day and just check in? What did this day entail? Where was my energy? Was it extremely dynamic? Was I doing? Or did I allow moments to just be? Do I allow moments to be? Do I allow moments to feel? Do I allow moments to just be empty? Or am I 90%, 99% doing and 1% being? Right? It straight away shows you what's required. Right? If we're a tightrope walker and we're walking way over to the right, we're never going to be able to walk across the tightrope, right? No matter how, even if we're practicing, and I've used this analogy before, let's say our spiritual practices of, whether it be, or our disciplines of yoga, or of breath, of meditation, of exercise, of whatever it may be, creative painting, drawing, poetry, music, whatever is your jam, whatever your thing is. These are all tools, just like a tightrope walker using a balancing staff. Until you're able to, at first some people would just use their hands as a balancing staff, but you can actually get a staff that's balanced, yeah? Has weights on, so if you tilt this way you can balance yourself out and instead of falling. Just until you get to find where your middle point is, right? We're using things like this that are proven like our disciplines, our creative disciplines, mental disciplines, emotional disciplines, and physical disciplines, not to torment, but to just sharpen, and teach the student, teach the apprentice of life the way of the middle. And that the middle path can be walked, but it is challenging. It is ultimately simple, because it is just right up the middle. But our inability to hold center makes it rather challenging. So we have to just get up and go again and again and again and again, and look today, whoa, way too much to this way. Today, way too much to the left. And as you said, sometimes the way of balance is to go peek that thing out. And we've seen that. So many people that are big doers then peak out on doing, and what happens? Naturally, they get sick,
Chronic
something
fatigue.
happens, and then they are forced to rest.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be a good example of your peaking and then a full swing into passivity. There is one way to do it, but probably not the most effective way. Right? A better way is to be a conscious participant in it, until it getting to that point that you're sat on your ass. Yeah. Choose for yourself. You know you're doing too much. Woo up. Pull the reins. Bring in some of those balancing tools that will help you walk the middle way. Yeah. Look at thy life. Welcome in more spaciousness. Yeah. Start to balance in lifetime. Be a conscious participant in this balancing act. Don't just let it do it itself, because it will, but not most effectively. Much better to be there with it, because you're learning, you're adjusting, you're strengthening, yeah, cultivating courage to look at it, to be there, to take accountability, to take ownership. Yeah, you're with the whole process, which is so exciting. Right? It's nothing boring about it. It's exhilarating because you're learning.
It's play.
It's play. It really is, right? So we need to just shift our attitude towards it. It's not all heavy lifting. It just needs your conscious participation. And we just need to be truly honest with ourselves. Don't trick yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't pretend. It doesn't help anything. If there's imbalance, there's imbalance. Good. Look at it.
You can't have a secret stash.
No. If you're scared to feel or express or be vulnerable, good. Just admitting it to self. That's all. I don't need to yell at it in the streets. I just need to acknowledge, yeah, wow, I do get uncomfortable when I feel a moment of vulnerability present. And I try to shroud that with humor. I try to deflect. I try to project. I try to change the subject. I try to turn the limelight away from me and onto someone else through whatever manipulative means I can. Yeah. And sometimes we're not even aware we're doing that. So that's why, again, we have these conversations to be like, holy shit, I do that. Good. Now, next time I do that, it's okay, I'm doing it. I'll be able to catch myself lifetime, yeah, and just go, hang on, I don't need to do that. Instead, I'm just going to sit with a little bit of discomfort at first with my vulnerability. And you know what? I don't need to control it. I just need to leave it be. I can be vulnerable and uncomfortable, and all can be well. I don't need it to be smooth. I can find more comfort in the space of discomfort. That's been one of my mantras for many years. Yeah, I found harmony, yeah, through suffering. I realized I was rather good at suffering. Yeah. In that sense, I mean, I was okay to hurt. I have a very, let's say, good threshold there to hurt. I can push myself to extremes. And in doing so, I wasn't trying to destroy myself. I would just meet that discomfort and I would be okay to be uncomfortable. I would make the best of that. And I would just be with it. I would let myself feel uncomfortable. Yeah? And at times I put myself in rather uncomfortable places for the means of that refinement. Because I found through facing discomfort, which in turns for people in other ways could be fear, with facing my fear, which made me uncomfortable, I found balance. Because in and through the door of fear lied the gem I was actually looking for. But if I was too afraid to go there, I would never find it. If I was too uncomfortable and I balked and I ran the other way, instead of just being with that discomfort and learning that art of surrender, of sacrifice, I sacrificed myself at that altar of life. Yeah, because I knew in every death, every time I laid it all down, and I just trusted, wholeheartedly trusted, even when everything on the outside may have looked like it was going to shit. I may have been left with nothing, right? Everything I worked for may have been slipping through my fingers, and I just sacrificed myself. I laid everything that now I see wasn't me at all down to be compost for the earth. Yeah. And I was okay to be uncomfortable. I found comfort in the face of discomfort, in the face of fear. I found comfort. I passed through that threshold of fear, and I turned darkness into light. I brought the light of my awareness, of my courage, into a dark place within myself. And all of a sudden, fear couldn't dwell there, because I saw then what was hiding in the darkness there was no need to be afraid of. It was just something, a part of myself that I hadn't accepted. And it had been causing havoc in the darkness, playing in the shadows. But it wasn't scary at all. It was just more of me, unexplored, unrecognized, unaccepted. And as I brought my light there, and I faced that fear, and I sat with discomfort, and I allowed it to exist, it all dissolved away. So let us continue to do this and encourage each other to do this and realize there's nothing to be afraid of. Right? All that you will find is just more of yourself. That's all. More of yourself, which will inevitably bring more wholeness to your heart, more peace to your mind, more ease in your body. Yeah? This is what we need. This is that universal medicine. Because one who is doing this work and has done this work, yeah, and inevitably moving into fuller expressions of that balanced state, holds in their field something that's alive. There's mystery in them. There's ease in them. There's a degree of deep comfort, yeah, and authenticity. They just are as they are, and you can feel that. You feel at ease to be yourself around them, to speak about whatever, right? So you open, as being that, as you doing this work for yourself, you open the opportunity for so many others, right? To talk, to express, because they're like, my gosh, you just make me feel so safe to be as I am because you're so comfortable in yourself. I all of a sudden feel so comfortable in myself. You act as a walking teacher without even trying to teach. You're an ambassador. You're an embodiment of the thing. Be a living example. Always be a living example. Best way to teach. Be it. Yeah. But first you have to be it. Don't try and teach it if you're not it. Because there will be a resonance, mismatch. And people will feel, And authenticity is missing here. There's shininess, yes, there. That's being portrayed. But I'm not really feeling you. People will notice. So don't play the game. be it, walk it, breathe it, and it will naturally transmit to others, and others will feel safe and held and accepted and loved by you, and in turn do the same thing for themselves, because it is an authentic resonance.
Mm-hmm.
It's a natural, organic resonance, which is encouraging and uplifting and freeing and liberating all at the same time. Right? So there's so much in just that. How to balance yin and yang, sun and moon. The byproduct of that, phenomenally beautiful. The process of that, phenomenally revealing and educational. It educates me about me, and of course I want to know about me. We all innately desire to know. Yeah? Know the nature of this. Yeah? Right there. Challenging, yes, but simple.
Mm.
Right there.
It's actually reminding me, I saw this really great meme. I sometimes joke with a lot of my patients as far as like, if we just look under the bed, the boogeyman's never as scary. And half the time, if we can just be like, mate, what do you need? He's just like, milk and biscuits. And you're like, fine, I'll get that. Can we sort this out? And then I saw this really funny meme where it was two boogeymen under the bed, and like one looks at the other and is like, do you ever get the feeling that someone's on top of us? Like, it's really cute. Come back to that neutrality.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Thanks, Kurt.
Welcome.